Hey, Science 20s, it is day 2 of biology, and we're looking at interactions within the ecosystem. On Friday, I introduced the 3 different types of interactions, and I'm just going to give you the definitions for your note pack, and it's a bit of a review because you've probably heard of these before. Here they are. When you have a relationship where both organisms benefit, that is called mutualism. So that's like the pollination of flowers. Insects get a certain food from the flowering plants, and the flowers get pollinated. Basically, the insect takes pollen from one plant to another, which leads to the fertilization. There's lots of other mutualistic relationships. You can have animals that clean other animals in nature. The animal gets cleaned, like a bird is eating ticks off a giraffe, and the giraffe doesn't have ticks, and the bird gets a snack. A more insidious relationship is parasitism. That is where one benefits and the other is harmed, like stupid mosquitoes or the aforementioned ticks. Commensalism is where one benefits and the other isn't really harmed or helped. And there's a really cute picture there of the clownfish and the sea anemone. So there's lots of things in nature that go through commensalism where one benefits from the interaction. A good example is in your eyebrows, there are these mites. Not everybody has them, and these mites live on our hair follicles and eat our sweat, but they don't harm us. They just get a nice little snack from our sweat and our dead skin. So please don't go shave your eyebrows. Not everybody has these eye mites, and they don't hurt you. Okay, so that's mutualism, parasitism, and commensalism. All right. Oh, we've got this slide over and over again. So getting into the second part of today's lesson about energy, we can only talk about energy in an ecosystem when there's energy that transforms within it. And that's predator and prey relationships. Now, most ecosystems have way more prey type animals than predators. And the predator and prey animals are always in sync with each other. If one goes up, the other goes up a little bit. Not always the case, but usually the case. Okay, you have to have a really good dynamic. You can't have too many prey because they could change the vegetation. They'll eat all of the food in an ecosystem. There have been many case studies, and there's going to be a video in this in this lesson that shows you that they brought wolves into an area of Yellowstone National Park, and the wolves reshaped the organisms and the whole ecosystem by eating animals that were eating too much vegetation. Okay, so these interactions are all kept in balance. If you have too many predators, they'll eat all the prey. And on my podcast, I had an animal biologist that studies the predator-prey interactions in Africa. And if they introduce a new lion to an area that the lions have all been hunted to extinction, and the animals in that area don't know the lion is a threat, the lion has a field day and eats all of the prey. And then there's no more prey. So you have to have a good dynamic, you have to have an equilibrium and a give and take between predator and prey. Now, the other part in a ecosystem has to do with energy, and these are called trophic levels. They start with the primary producers, so that's the things that make the energy, and everything that eats goes up a trophic level. And every animal exists usually in only one trophic level, though animals can, if they are omnivorous, meaning they can eat producers and they can eat consumers, they might go up and down in a trophic level. Humans are kind of at the top because unless you're very unlucky, not very many things eat us. So the bottom of a trophic level is called the producers. And another really important term here is autotroph. Okay, that's going to be, hint, that's going to be coming up on your the Google form I'm making for this lesson. So producers make energy, and they're also known as the autotrophs. They are the first trophic level. Now, everything as you go up are consumers because they can't make their own energy. they can only get their energy from the level below them. And they are called heterotrophs, not autotrophs, heterotrophs. So you can see in that diagram, the grasshopper can eat the plant, the mouse can eat the grasshopper, the snake can eat the mouse, and I guess, too bad for the snake, we got some psycho bird, some kind of eagle thing eating the snake. You can also have a honey badger. Honey badgers are found at the top of food webs. Okay. Now, the last slide there's two more slides. One of the last slides I'm going to talk about is that every time you go up a trophic level, you don't get 100% of the energy. So most of the energy is stored within the producers, like grass and leaves. And anything that eats that only gets a certain percentage of that energy. And that's because it's lost as heat. The digestive process isn't 100%. So every time you go up the food chain, every trophic level you go up, you lose that energy from the plant. So like a falcon has to eat a crap ton of stuff below it as composed to the one below it. There's less energy. So every time you go up, there's less energy. That's why there's way less top trophic level animals, because there's not enough energies to support them, right? You don't have like 100,000 falcons everywhere, but you might have 100,000 grasshoppers. And that's what this says. There's fewer large predators than producers, right? There's only so many bears. I mean, I would love to live in a world where there was 100,000 bears everywhere. It would make my life very exciting and dangerous. But there's only a couple hundred in certain places in Alberta. Okay, this is extra animation there. Stupid, pointless. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about food webs tomorrow. This is the second part of the lesson this week on interaction. So I'm going to leave the lesson here. Your objective is to maybe go back and fill in the notepad, because remember, biology has a lot to do with terminology. So once you're done filling in the notepad, you can try the short Google quiz or Google form that's part of this lesson as well. All right, that's that. Oh, and make sure you watch all the fun videos I've posted. They're great.